Hi, welcome to this session on Atrium Integrator. My name is Rahul Vedak and I'm Product Manager here at BMC. In today's session, we would see how CMDB users can design a job to bring in data from any source database to Atrium CMDB classes using Atrium Integrator. As you know, Atrium Integrator is an integration engine that enables you to transfer data from external data stores to CMDB classes and AR system forms. You can connect to a wide variety of input sources using connectors such as Flatfile, Complex XML, JDBC, ODBC, JMS, native databases, web services, and so on. Atrium Integrator provides you with ability to clean and transform your data before putting it into CMDB classes or AR forms. Atrium Integrator provides an easy-to-use wizard for creating an integration job for importing data into CMDB classes. Let's explore this job creation wizard with an example as part of this video. Also, you will learn how to create connection in AR data store. We'll also explore concept of CI template in job creation wizard and understand how it helps users. And finally, configuring delta option in the wizard that help implement one of the key integration best practice. Please note, there are few changes to Atrium Integrator job creation wizard in this release. Any 8.0 specific feature when used in this video, it will be called out. John is Atrium CMDB administrator with Calibro services and tasked with loading data into CMDB from a discovery source. Discovery tool stores all of the data in database tables. So effectively this means creating an integration job to pull data from external database and loading this data into CMDB classes. So let's find out what John does to complete this assignment. John has listed following broader steps that he will follow in order to achieve his goal of loading data from source discovery database. Steps include creating new source and target connection in AI, initiate job creation wizard and map fields from source database to CMDB classes and relationship. He needs to do mapping for each class and relationship. And finally, add schedule for the job run. Let's follow John for these activities now. John logs into Atrium Integrator console. John will first need to create a new data store that will connect to database of source discovery tool. Click Manage Data Store option from Atrium Integrator console toolbar. John now adds a new data store for file type equal to database. He defines a name for this data store and enter all the relevant details. John can quickly test this connection if it is successful, and now he can save this connection. As you can see, this connection is now available on the left pane. In the similar way, John goes about creating a CMDB connection. John has created two connections, one to CMDB, destination CMDB, and one for the discovery tool from where he will pull the data. One important note about connections which are of type database: the list of databases selected here is a subset of databases from various vendors that AI support. There are additional databases that Atrium Integrator supports. Also, you can connect to these wide variety of databases using different connection types like native connection, JDBC connection, ODBC connection, and so on. User need to log in to Atrium Integrator Spoon to explore all of this further. Let's go back to the console. Moving next, John now launches Create Job Wizard. Wizard offers step-by-step approach to build integration job. First step of this job creation wizard is to define name of integration job and source and target detail. Here John selects recently created data store connection. So he selects destination CMDB and dataset that he will populate as part of this integration. In the next screen, John will identify first CIs and then relationships that he intends to populate from discovery database. One important feature of the wizard is CI templates. CI templates are groups of relevant CIs and relationships which together represent a commonly referred entity. For example, server template groups all the CIs that make up a typical server like operating system, products, IP address, disk drive, and so on. CI template encapsulates CDM modeling concepts and represent them as commonly referred entities such as servers, virtual machine, desktop, or any other custom CI template. Templates enforce data modeling guidelines and best practices in product itself instead of having users to scout for information through document. CI templates particularly help users with roles such as business analyst with little or no knowledge of CDM to easily create integration job. If you select this template, the wizard automatically moves all the related CIs to the selected CI type. Since John needs to update only computer system and operating system from discovery database, he just selects those two from the CI list. The selected CIs are now visible in the table below. Next screen shows list of relationships to be populated. Based on CI selection in the previous screen, CDM suggests appropriate relationship you might want to populate as part of this integration job. In this case, system OS relationship is suggested. John goes about selecting this OS. You will now notice the status bar of the wizard on the top is expanded to include additional steps for CI and relationship mapping steps. John will now map computer system CI detail. Left panel lists all the attributes in CDM for computer system class, and right pane will list all columns in the source database for the selected table or view. John maps name with name and account ID with machine ID in source table. He sets account ID as source key. This field selection helps to uniquely identify records in the source table. One or more fields can be selected as source key. John should now set up transformation option. There are two important settings here, one for the delta and the other for response that we should discuss here. Delta refers to the process where only updated records from the source are processed since the last transfer was run. During each data transfer, the only records retrieved from the source are new records and those with the last modified timestamp that is later than the most recent successful transfer. Setting delta to yes is suggested best practice for CMDB integration since this significantly reduces integration load for subsequent job runs. Another setting is response. This is to specify whether user wants to set response field back in the source system. Typically, users make use of a response field when a value is generated at the time a target record is created or modified, and user wants that value to be reflected in the source record. For example, in case of a ticket sync process, user may send newly created ticket ID in the destination system back to the source database. This will help both systems to keep ticket data in sync in the subsequent runs. John selects delta option and select last modified date column in the source table for this. This list essentially shows list of all the date type of field from the source table. Moving next, John follows similar steps for operating system mapping. John selects CD machine ID and name as two source keys here. Further, John moves to relationship mapping step in the wizard. Here, John needs to define how operating system is related to machine. John maps corresponding column in operating system and computer system to define relationships. John has now almost finished creating integration job to transfer data from discovery database tables to CMDB classes and relationship. Only optional task pending is to add schedule for this job so as discovered data is refreshed in CMDB at the selected interval. For now, John skips this step of adding schedule. John hits the finish button and the integration job should be created now. A confirmation message shows up and the job is now created. This completes John's assignment of designing a job for populating Atrium CMDB classes from database tables using Atrium Integrator Job Creation Wizard. Few important points about Atrium Integrator Job Creation Wizard. Wizard is available for transferring data to CMDB classes. It doesn't include feature for designing jobs that involve data transfer to AR forms. You need to use AI Spoon for modifying any job that you create using Wizard. Use AI Wizard as starting point for designing your integration job. It provides you with a structure that you can refine using Atrium Integrator Spoon at later point of time. You can define job schedule as part of the wizard. Schedule can be added, modified from AI console anytime. You should select delta and response option during job design in the wizard. Otherwise, modifying jobs or transformation to handle delta or response in Spoon at later stage will be significant manual effort. This completes today's video of designing a job for populating Atrium CMDB classes from database tables using Atrium Integrator Job Creation Wizard. Thanks for watching this video.